everyone, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because it is that time again. We are headed back to the antique mall. I just started antiquing about a year ago and it's like one of my new favorite things to do. If you guys haven't been to an antique or vintage spot yet near you, I highly recommend it. It is so much fun to kind of just go and search for items that really give your home character that you are personally drawn to. And one thing I like about it is that everything has kind of been curated for you versus when you go thrifting, you're kind of just sorting through the mess. But here, there's some really fun, unique items that the vendors have worked really hard to source and display in a really beautiful way, so you can kind of see how things should be styled. You can really bring some beautiful items back into your home that just give it that character and uniqueness that you just can't get from new items. So yeah, today we are going to be going to the biggest antique mall in the South. My mother-in-law and I went the other day and I found so many good things. I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I look for and what prices are good. Prices can definitely vary, but I'm gonna hope to kind of give you guys somewhat of a guide on the things that I look for. Obviously there are things that I'm willing to splurge on, and then there's things that are just not worth it. So I'm gonna kind of point those out to you in today's video when I take you along. And then we're gonna come back home and I'm gonna show you all of the fun things I got, how I styled it in my home, and how much it all was. So without further ado, let's go antiquing.
Okay, so here we are at the Depot at Gibson Mall, and this is probably my favorite antique mall I have ever been to. My awesome subscribers actually told me about this spot, so if you guys are ever in the Charlotte area, I highly recommend stopping by this one. If you have never been to an antique mall before, each vendor owns their own booth, and sometimes vendors will have multiple booths throughout the market, so prices can really vary depending on the vendor. So one of the main things I like to keep an eye out for are fun jars, baskets, and vases to display flowers or stems in. Most of the time, these kinds of pieces can be really expensive at antique malls, and you are better off thrifting these kinds of things, but every once in a while, I'll find a good deal on a piece with some character that I just can't leave behind. And I will say I don't usually even consider it unless it's under $50. Some of these things are very reasonably priced. They're similar to home goods prices, but some jugs can run you $100, and I personally don't think that's worth it. But if it's $50 and under, that's kind of when I start to consider it and weigh, is it worth it to me or not? And another thing I like to keep my eye out for is wall decor, because so many of the pieces found in antique malls have a story. I love being able to display that on a wall somewhere where I would see it every day. And specifically when looking for vintage wall decor, I think it's really fun to think out of the box. There's really pretty things like shutters, windows, wall hangers, etc. that would just be really pretty hung in a hallway or to dress up that random empty wall that we all have. So just like to keep my eye out to see if anything really sticks out to me. Another thing I always like to look for are vintage breadboards. This is a huge designer trend right now to display an old worn vintage board against your backsplash, so I always like to see if there's anything good within my price range. I will say that most of these boards are from Europe and are very pricey. I personally wouldn't pay over $100 for a medium-sized one, and if you could get one around $50, that would be a steal. But there are some cheaper options for boards that are faux vintage and made to look old and worn, but are actually new, and these tend to be a little bit cheaper. I really liked the circular shape on this one. I thought that was kind of cool. And then this one had such a charming old pattern painted on it for those that like a little pop of color, and it even had a little knife slot. So I just thought this one would look so cute out on display. Now, another reason I love sifting through vintage stores is because you truly just never know what you're going to find. And sometimes, even if you don't have the intention of putting an item you find in your home, it's just fun to come and see all of these old pieces that have so much character and aging. You almost kind of feel like you're in a museum sometimes, and there are so many funny old pieces, from lighting to baskets to old clocks and scales. It's just really fun to kind of come and see all of these items that these vendors have sourced. It's also really fun to visit these vintage spots when the seasons change because some of their seasonal decor is just so unique, and it's a really great investment for those seasonal decor items that you will use year after year. They had a ton of gourds here that had some really pretty coloring and would provide such a great added texture into some fall decor. I personally like to keep my fall decor palette very neutral and as natural as possible, so these are absolutely perfect for that. And whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter, it's just fun to see how all of the vendors styled their booths with this decor and how it can really be a fun way to visualize some little fall displays to use in your own home. So one thing that I personally feel like is worth the splurge is furniture. A lot of these pieces are super historical and just have that worn, lived-in feel to them, so you don't have to worry about scratches on your coffee table or dining table because it already has that kind of charming lived-in effect. And because these are large statement pieces that will be pillars for your design, I feel like they can really sometimes be worth a bit of a higher price tag. So, I mean, we all love new furniture, but with this, there's just something about having a unique, one-of-a-kind vintage piece that is worth it to me. And sometimes you might even get lucky and find items that may be cheaper than new furniture, but it just really all depends on the vendor and the piece. Since we are talking furniture in general here, it can be kind of hard for me to give you an exact price range that's good. So what I typically do is I just ask myself, if I were to buy that piece of furniture brand new, what is the maximum price that I would be willing to pay? And then I kind of just go and evaluate from there. If I really love the vintage piece, maybe I'm willing to go a little bit over that price, but maybe the price will fall into my budget and I'll just get lucky. So that's kind of how I gauge it. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys one last thing I look for, and then we will head back home and show you all my purchases. But I love looking for old, unique stools. These are just so great for propping plants or planters on, or just styled with some other decor pieces in front of a fireplace or something like that. I almost always find super unique ones, and I have a hard time not buying them all.
All right, so we're back home and I'm gonna show you guys all of my fun purchases. I did spend a pretty penny on this trip, you guys. But you know, sometimes we just have those days where it gets out of hand, and that was this time. So I'm gonna show you guys all the fun things I bought. And one thing to know, at these antique stores, you can usually get a little bit of a discount if the price doesn't say firm on it. Like for big pieces of furniture or things that are a little bit more expensive, you can typically get 10% off. So, you know, I always just ask, like, is this your best price on this? Can you go any lower? And typically I can get 10% off if the price tag doesn't say firm. So the place that I was at specifically does this for items that are $50 or more. So that is something to keep in mind. But the first thing that I got was this super cool antique cutting board, and it was $49. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I just love this aged detail. If you guys can see, it's definitely been used, been cut, and the middle is like very faded and the darker edges just kind of like stand out against it. And it has this really pretty like kind of metal handle. And this is another reason I like antiquing. When I saw it for the first time, I was originally thinking to use it as a cutting board, but they actually had a pitcher sitting on it. So they kind of had styled it as a riser, which isn't something that I was thinking about. So like I said in my shop with me portion, it really helps to kind of think outside the box when looking for items. And it was just nice that that seller kind of had it styled like that, so I could see it. And then I kind of thought, oh my gosh, I have the perfect spot for that. So we have a couple items on one of our bar areas that kind of just sit there, and I've been meaning to get a riser for it for a while to kind of group them together and make them seem a little bit more intentional, but I haven't found the right thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. This aged wood will look really nice against our gray countertops, and everything on there should kind of go with it really nicely. And I think it just finishes off that area perfectly. I will say sometimes it helps to envision something or hope to envision something when you buy from antique malls, just because you can't return things, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I think it helps when you can kind of really sit there, get some wheels turning, and really think about, hey, where would I put this in my space? And also, on that same note, I will say many times I have bought things just because I like them and I have no spot for them in my place, but I'm like, I'm gonna find a spot because I like that thing. All right, so these next two things kind of fit in with the kitchen theme, and I have always wanted to just display some really pretty copper pots in my kitchen. It's a very classic look, very cottagey, just really cozy. I don't want them hanging from everywhere, but I just thought like a couple really pretty aged antique ones would look really nice. But if you guys didn't know, copper pots, especially antique copper pans and stuff, are so expensive. So I was able to find this thing that was kind of a fun cross. So it's this really pretty egg poacher. So it's definitely an antique. It has a really pretty aged iron handle. I love kind of like the age spots on the copper, and it's truly such a pretty piece. And I don't remember like the exact price because the lady took the price tag off. I'll insert what it is here because I can look back on my footage. I like it because it's different. It's not just your regular pot. It has like these fun little egg poach spots, and I think it would look really pretty hanging from our backsplash area. Currently I have a picture frame there and it looks really nice, but sometimes I just want to switch things up and I might just put these in permanently and hang them on some hangers. When I say these, I got this other little pot. I don't remember the price of this one either, but I will insert it here. But I just love the aged detail of it. I thought it was so cute and tiny, and it has a little lid on it. I don't know if I will use the lid because I'm going to use them to hang on display on my backsplash, but I just thought that they were cute together. They looked like a good size right next to each other. So I did kind of have to get creative with displaying these, since I've seen a lot of people use utility hangers and actually drill into their backsplash, but I personally did not want to do that just because, like I said, I like keeping the flexibility if I want to change it up in the future. What I decided to do was I got some S hooks on Amazon for like $6, and I just kind of put them in our little vent hood, and then I just laid an IKEA Racca curtain hanger. It was adjustable so it could stretch the entire length of the backsplash, and then I just put some little decorative ends on it just so it looked finished. I laid it in those S hooks, and then I took some more S hooks and just was able to display these that way, and I was really happy with how this kind of turned out. I'm really grateful that I found these and that I was able to kind of like make this little decor idea come to life. All right, so for my last kitchen item, I got this really cute wooden spoon. It was $9, which is a little pricey for a spoon, I know, but I really just love the age detail on there, and I just thought it was super cute with those cracks. I think when you add stuff like this to your kitchen crock, it just really makes your space feel very cozy, very lived in. I know I use those words all the time, but I don't know, there's just something about it that I love looking at. I love primitive, old, aged wood and that look and that warmth that it gives. And I do wash these before I put them in on display. So I'll just take them, wash them with some soap and water, let them dry, and then I'll put them in my kitchen crock, but I'll also put my real, wood utensils that I actually use. These are purely decoration. So I have my decorative ones in there, but then I also place my real wooden utensils in there that I actually use on a daily basis. And I kind of separate them a little bit, and yeah, that way it's functional and still decorative. So I really like doing that with my kitchen crock. So if you are looking for some fun antique items, but you don't want to pay a lot, I feel like these can really just like make a big difference, and they're not that expensive. So all right, so the next thing I got, I was so excited to find for the right price. I will say I saw a lot of these there, and some were really overpriced and some actually, like these, were decent. So I got this really cute pair of brass candlestick holders. It was a pair of 2 for $8, which is $4 each, which is very similar to like a thrift store price. I got these. I also got this set of 3. And this one, I think it was $6 for a set of 3, which was really good, $2 each. And then I also got this pair for $6, so $3 each. And I just tried to get varying heights, if you guys can see here, because I am going to make a really fun table setup for the holidays, and I'm trying to collect as many of these as I can. I'm excited to show you guys what I do with that. But yeah, these are brass, and I really love like the aged brass look of these. Some people want to clean them when they get them, which is totally fine, but I personally like how each one has its own kind of like aged look to it, so I'll probably keep them like that. I think it just kind of like adds some character and some depth to the space, in my eyes anyways. Some people just are really bothered by it and they see it as dirty, but I see it as like a really pretty aged piece. So I liked all of these because they were good prices. I also saw a bunch there that were like $8 to $10 per little candlestick, so I thought that was just like not worth it. But if you can get a pair for $8 or something like that, I'd say that's a really good price. All right, so these next two items just kind of go together. Usually I don't look for clothing or anything like that here because, I mean, you can find really good stuff at the thrift stores or Goodwill, but some things just caught my eye and I couldn't say no. So I did live in Arizona for the past 6 years before we moved out to North Carolina, and I just love that Western look with like the turquoise and the cowgirl hats, the cowgirl boots. I don't like dress up like that often, but I just love the look, and like little subtle like pops of turquoise or suede or stuff like that in my outfits. So I found this really cute suede hat for $20, and it is real suede, so I just thought it was kind of cool. Like, I don't know, I don't normally see things like this. If I don't wear it with an outfit, I thought it would look really cute, like maybe popped on a hanger or just somewhere on a wall for display. I figured this has a lot of potential places in my home, and then I got these really pretty turquoise earrings for $5. So I think they kind of go together, give like that Western vibe, which I personally love. So you'll probably see me wearing these in my future videos. I don't think they're real turquoise, but I just thought that they were pretty. For $5 for a really pretty turquoise pair of earrings, I thought they were cute. All right, so because it is fall and I did a very minimal fall decor decorate with me, so if you guys haven't seen that, I will link it here, but I kind of just wanted to add a little bit more since I did that video a little early, since I had to film it, produce it, and get it out in time. So I wanted some things to just kind of add to make my space feel more like fall as the seasons actually changed into fall. So this is something that I got. It has a really interesting shape and I did pay $30 for it, but I will say that at HomeGoods or whatever, I haven't seen this really pretty shape. I love how it looks like hand woven and just kind of like, not lopsided, but just kind of, you know, has character and a fun little unique shape. So I thought it'd be pretty to pop some dried florals in just for a little display piece, and this can even be changed out with the seasons, not necessarily just for fall. I thought that this was pretty and I couldn't pass her up. Is this one of those things that I look back and I'm like, I could have maybe done without that? Yes, but you know, am I happy to have it? Sure. But then I also got a little fun, unique fall collection of things. So I got this little pumpkin. How cute is it? It is obviously handmade. It has a real pumpkin stem on it. I just thought it was cute. It was $10, which I know is a lot for this, but I love the color, how it wasn't like over the top in your face, but it just did have that kind of rusty, brown, taupey, almost a little bit orangey effect. So I thought it'd be really cute, just popped somewhere. I think I'm gonna make a little display with all my fall items that I got right near my fireplace. Then I also got this butternut squash pillow. How cute. It looks like it's from like an old, like true butternut squash sack. I don't know if it is. And then it was just kind of like sewed on this vintage looking fabric. I thought this was just enough cuteness and didn't totally cross the realm into tacky. I liked it because it has that vintage look, so it does feel very unique and like this is actually from a butternut squash sack. So yeah, I got that. Oh, and that guy was $12. And then I got these super cool gourds. I know I showed you guys a bunch of these. I just couldn't pass them up. I passed like 5 or 6 booths with them and I was like, I don't need those. And then by like booth 6, I was like, I'm getting them. But I don't know, they were $6 each, which I thought was pretty good. I thought one would be cute, like maybe laid down and stood up. I thought that these would be a really fun texture to add to the room, kind of give it that like organic feel because they are real gourds. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm just gonna kind of layer them by my fireplace with all of my other fall decor items, just to give it that extra little punch of fall or that fall explanation point or whatever you want to call it. All right, so this last piece is one of my absolute favorites, and it is this super pretty vintage stool, you guys. Look at all of the aged detail on there. I figured this would be perfect for propping up plants. Right now I have it in my bathroom. I had a stool there that I got from Home Goods or Marshalls or something like that, and I just figured this added a little bit more character to it. So I don't know, I think I might try to find somewhere a little bit more prominent in my home where I see it every day, because I think this is just such a fun, unique piece. It was $55, so it was the one item I was able to get 10% off of. But yeah, this is a old vintage milking stool, and on Etsy they can go for a lot more than that, so I actually thought that it was a good deal. So definitely really pretty. Not sure when I'm gonna keep it long term, but right now I think it's great to like prop a plant on, or just kind of layer near a fireplace, or as a little accent piece or something like that. So that about wraps up this video, you guys. I hope you kind of enjoyed getting to see my antique / vintage shopping process. Just so you guys know, antiques are technically something 100 years or older. A viewer of mine corrected me on that on my first antiquing video. So vintage items are anything like 100 years or less. So I hope you guys had fun kind of seeing my shopping process and what I bought and how I styled it in my home. Definitely, if you guys like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It really helps out my channel, and I have so many cost-saving and budget-friendly tips and tricks for sprucing up your space and home decor, home makeovers, stuff like that. So definitely check it out if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for all your kind support on my channel. It really does mean so much to me. YouTube is seriously one of the best communities of any social media I've ever been on. I truly do not know what I would do without you guys. You all are the best, and thank you again for watching and tuning into another video. So I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!